Admiral Zexnoth couldn't believe what his sensors were telling him. After 3 days of unopposed conquest through the Terran Outer Rim, destroying every human outpost and defense station with contemptuous ease, a single ship had emerged from the asteroid belt to challenge his Armada. One ship against 300. Magnify visual, he commanded, his mandibles clicking with amusement. The main screen zoomed in on what could generously be called a vessel. The hull was a patchwork of rust-streaked metal plates held together by what appeared to be industrial welding. Scorch marks and dents covered every surface. One of its engine nacelles was clearly a different color than the rest of the ship, suggesting field repairs with salvage parts. Most embarrassingly, someone had spray-painted Rusty Betty in crude letters across the bow. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, barely suppressing laughter. It's transmitting a challenge. Audio only. Put it through." A gravelly human voice filled the bridge, thick with an accent Zexnoth's translator struggled to parse. "This here's Captain Jake Morrison of the independent freighter Rusty Betty. Y'all just blew up my favorite diner back on Station 7, and that don't sit right with me." The bridge erupted in laughter. Zexnoth raised a hand for silence. "Human vessel, you are vastly outgunned. Withdraw immediately, and you will be permitted to escape." "Well now, that's mighty kind of you, Admiral." There was a pause, followed by the sound of liquid being poured. "But see, that diner served the best coffee in 3 sectors, and Marge, she made these apple pies that'd make a grown man weep. So I reckon I'll be staying." Zexnoth's amusement turned to irritation. "Captain Morrison, my Armada carries enough firepower to glass a planet. Your freighter appears to be held together with scrap metal and prayer." "Oh, she ain't much to look at," Morrison agreed cheerfully. "Been manning to get her painted for, 15 years now. But she's got good bones, Admiral. Real good bones. Weapons officer, target that rust bucket and—" "Admiral," his sensor operator's voice cracked with alarm. "I'm reading massive power fluctuations from the human vessel. Energy signatures are— this can't be right." The Rusty Betty was beginning to glow, not with weapons charging, but with something far more ominous. Her entire hull was emanating a soft blue radiance that made Zexnoth's scales crawl. "Sir, the ship's power output just increased by a factor of 10,000. Make that 50,000. Sir, it's still climbing." Captain Morrison's voice came through again, now carrying an edge that hadn't been there before. "See, Admiral, most folks look at old Betty here and see a worn-out cargo hauler. But she weren't always a freighter." The glow around the ship intensified. Navy decommissioned her after the Centauri campaign, sold her off as surplus. Guess they figured nobody'd ever need a Titan-class dreadnought again. The bridge fell silent, except for the increasingly frantic beeping of overloading sensors. "Course, I made a few modifications over the years," Morrison continued conversationally. "Stripped out most of the military hardware, used the space for cargo holds. But I kept a few of the special bits. The jump core from a battleship, couple of antimatter torpedoes I forgot to mention to customs, and—" He paused dramatically. "Well, let's just say the main cannon's still operational." The Rusty Betty's hull plates were sliding away, revealing weapon systems that belonged on ships 10 times her apparent size. The ramshackle exterior had been camouflaged. Beneath lay enough firepower to level cities. "Admiral Zexnoth." Morrison's voice had gone deadly serious. "You killed Marge. You destroyed the best coffee in the galaxy. And for—" "That, sir, I'm going to have to ask you and your boys to leave. Now." Admiral Zexnoth stared at the impossible sight of a single disguised dreadnought facing his entire fleet, then quietly gave the order to retreat. Some victories, he reflected, weren't worth the cost.